You don't feel like a liar. But sometimes, around other people, you feel edited, like you're presenting a version of yourself. That isn't fully you. You laugh a little differently, speak a little softer, hide certain opinions. And later, when you're alone, you wonder, is that even me? If you've ever felt fake around almost everyone, there's a reason. And it's not what you think. It shows up in small moments. At a dinner, someone asks what you do. You answer, but you adjust the tone depending on who's listening. With one friend, you're ambitious. With another, you downplay it. In a group conversation, you scan faces before you finish your sentence. You measure reactions. You adapt in real time. And afterward, you feel strangely empty. Not because the interaction went badly, but because it felt managed. Over time, this starts shaping your identity. You don't know which version is real. You feel like a social chameleon. In psychology, this pattern is closely related to something called self-monitoring, the tendency to regulate your behavior based on social cues. High self-monitors are skilled at reading rooms. They notice subtle shifts in tone, posture, and approval. But the cost is internal fragmentation. You begin to experience what researchers call self-concept clarity problems, difficulty knowing who you are across contexts. It doesn't feel like adaptability. It feels like fraud. And the more socially aware you are, the worse it can feel. So why would your brain create this? Why would it make you feel fake? Just for trying to belong? First, you are not broken. Feeling fake is often a sign that your nervous system learned something important early on. Connection equals safety. Human brains evolved in small tribes. Rejection wasn't just awkward, it was dangerous. So your brain developed a strategy. Scan, adjust, blend. What you call fake might actually be social intelligence. Turned up too high. It's not deception, it's adaptation. But adaptation without awareness can become identity confusion. And that's where the discomfort begins. When you enter a social space, two major systems activate. First, your social monitoring system, involving areas like the medial prefrontal cortex, which helps you think about how others see you. Second, your threat detection system, primarily the amygdala, scanning for signs of rejection. If the amygdala senses even subtle risk, a pause, a raised eyebrow, it signals your brain to adjust behavior. Think of it like an internal soundboard. Each personality trait is a volume slider. Confidence, humor, vulnerability, opinion. In different rooms, your brain automatically moves the sliders. Lower this, increase that, mute this part completely. The mechanism is predictive processing. Your brain constantly predicts social outcomes and updates behavior to reduce social error. If authenticity once led to criticism, your brain learned, safer to filter. Over time, this creates a gap between your private self and your public self. The larger the gap, the stronger the feeling of being fake. But here's the subtle truth. The feeling isn't proof that you are fake. It's proof that two versions of you are no longer integrated. And integration is something you can build. This isn't about just be yourself. That advice ignores how the brain works. Instead, think in terms of alignment. Step 1, notice the sliders. What to do? After social interactions, write down one moment where you adjusted yourself. Why it works? Awareness activates the prefrontal cortex, which reduces automatic amygdala-driven behavior. You move from unconscious adaptation to conscious choice. Example, you realize you laughed at a joke you didn't find funny, just to ease tension. That noticing alone weakens the pattern. Step 2, identify your core non-negotiables. What to do? Choose 3 traits or values you want to remain stable across contexts. Why it works? Psychology shows that strong identity anchors increase self-concept clarity. Clarity reduces internal conflict. Example, you decide curiosity, honesty, and calmness stay even if I adjust tone. You may still adapt, but the core remains. Step 3, practice micro-authenticity. What to do? Reveal 5% more of your genuine thought than feels comfortable, not 100%. Why it works? Gradual exposure reduces threat sensitivity in the amygdala. Your brain learns that small authenticity does not equal rejection. Example, instead of fully masking your opinion, you say, I see it slightly differently, not aggressive, not hidden, just slightly real. Step 4, separate adaptability from identity. What to do? Remind yourself, adjusting behavior isn't the same as changing who I am. Why it works? Cognitive reappraisal changes how the brain encodes emotional meaning. When you reinterpret flexibility as skill, not fraud, the emotional sting decreases. Example, speaking more formally at work isn't fake. It's contextual intelligence. The problem isn't adaptation. It's losing track of the core. Step 5, build one space of full alignment. What to do? Create at least one environment, even a private journal, where no sliders move. Why it works? The brain needs consistency to stabilize identity networks. Regular unfiltered expression strengthens neural pathways tied to self-coherence. Example, a late-night voice memo where you speak without editing, or one friend with whom you practice total clarity. One stable room makes the other rooms less exhausting. Imagine your personality as a house. Each room represents a different context. Work, friends, family, strangers. It's normal for lighting to change between rooms, but the foundation underneath must stay the same. Feeling fake happens when you forget the foundation and start redesigning the structure. For every visitor, your brain isn't trying to deceive anyone. It's trying to keep you safe. But safety without stability creates fragmentation. When you understand the mechanism, threat detection, predictive adjustment, identity clarity, the shame softens. You stop asking, what's wrong with me? And start asking, where did I learn this strategy? That question changes everything. You are not fake. You are adaptive. You learn to read rooms. Before you learn to anchor yourself. And now you're learning both. The goal isn't to remove the sliders. It's to remember who's holding them. The more you understand your mind, the less you have to hide inside it. And maybe authenticity isn't about being the same everywhere. Maybe it's about staying rooted. While the world changes around you, let that thought sit with you.